Welcome to this free immigration help channel. In this video, yet again, we are talking about family immigration, the petition for alien relative. And today I will be addressing a very good question that I have recently received from one of the viewers. And basically the question was, when do I need to hire a lawyer? When should I start considering hiring an immigration attorney, specifically obviously family immigration attorney, for the petition? And basically the question was around the petition taking a long time. The person was wondering if by hiring an immigration attorney, can they speed up the process of the application. So I decided to make this video, first of all address the initial question, when it is a good time to consider to hire an immigration attorney. But before we start, again, I'm going to mention, as I mentioned in every single video that I make on this channel, I am not myself an immigration attorney. This is not a legal advice or consultation or anything like this, which in this particular video makes it even better because I'm not really biased. I'm not selling my service, I'm not advertising my immigration company or anything like that. I don't have anything like that. It's just this channel, literally, that's it. I myself have been working for a very, very long time in the immigration field, and seeing all the cases and dealing with problems as a paralegal, working for a few different attorneys, just gave me an experience. And being myself an immigrant, it's the most experience that you can get. You can know the law, you can see all these applications and all the cases. It's one thing, but when you go through the process yourself as an immigrant, you can't beat that kind of experience. So again, that makes me not biased, and also I'm not trying obviously to take any work away from the attorneys. In fact, in this video I will give you a few instances where you definitely do want to consider, and let's actually start with that. So, as you know, if you don't know, I'm gonna go over this briefly. Whenever it comes to the family reunification, immigrant here, all right, language barriers. Whenever it comes to family reunion, filing a petition for alien relative, there are two major processes that are involved. All right, you have the side of USCIS. Getting approval from the USCIS. Once you're approved with USCIS, your case is transferred to the Department of State, specifically to the National Visa Center. Once you get documentarily qualified with National Visa Center, once everything approved on your end, then that case is being transferred to the local US Embassy, where the beneficiary of your petition is going for an interview. All right, so it's kind of like a two major steps process, and then one little final kind of just final thing to finish up by your beneficiary, right? So now kind of the ball is in the hands of the beneficiary, dealing with this stuff. They have to successfully pass the interview. So with that being said, obviously there are a few stages that you're dealing with on both of these. Whenever it comes to dealing with USCIS, you're starting your application, right? You're starting your petition. If you feel like, after watching videos, I've done a video on how to fill out the I-130 step by step. If after watching this video, you still are not sure, it still seems very, it gives you a lot of stress, and it just doesn't seem like something that you want to do by yourself completely without anybody sitting there and filling it out with you. If you're feeling this way, and if you have financial, it's not a problem, then I would definitely recommend considering an immigration attorney, going and hiring an immigration attorney and working with him to fill out the application, so that he himself or she can go over the application, make sure everything is filled out properly, make sure where everything is being filed to is the correct address, make sure the fees are correct, make sure that all the documents that you are attaching with the application, in fact, kind of consulting you along the way of filling it out, basically saying, hey, these are the documents that you want to put together, and then these are the documents we're going to be filing together with the application, right? And then kind of consulting you on this and telling you whether this is strong enough or it's not strong enough, additional documents are needed, and so forth. Obviously, all of this that I've just listed, you can definitely do it yourself, all right? It just takes, familiarizing yourself with the process, maybe, do reading the instructions, doing your research. But you can do it yourself, paying attention, being careful, doing the research. You can definitely do it yourself. But again, if you feel like this is not something that you can do, here you go. This is a step 1, application, preparation, and filing. At this stage, if you can afford and if you feel like you need, there you go. This is a great stage to hire an immigration attorney. All right, so number two reason for hiring, number 2 kind of where you would want to consider hiring an immigration attorney is in the middle of the process, if the process is getting outside of the processing times. Because once you file the application, once everything is submitted, once you get that notice of receipt from USCIS, it means your petition has been accepted by USCIS. Unless some additional documents are required, which this is my recommendation, strong recommendation, do put together the application as strong as possible from the very beginning. Because I do get questions sometimes, hey, can I just file the application and then later file my evidence and all that sort of stuff? Yes, you can, but I do not recommend doing it. Send the whole package. Make the case as strong as possible from the very beginning. That's what I would recommend. But anyway, let's say everything is submitted, everything is accepted by USCIS. Now they're just reviewing the case. And unless they require additional evidence, there's really nothing is going to be happening. The only thing that can go wrong is it might get outside of the normal processing times. And again, I've done a video on how to look up those processing times, so check it out if you're not familiar with that yet. But you probably know, if you have the family immigration petition going, you probably already know. So your case is getting outside of normal processing times. You submit the case inquiry. If you know how to do it, I've done the video on it. You can check it out. It's not that hard. You're doing it on this website right here, on USCIS website. So you submit the petition. Obviously there's a boilerplate response. They don't say nothing much. It's dragging out. It's becoming a little bit too long, right? And usually I say it's about 10% that you want to look at. So for example, if your normal processing time, let's say, is 10 months, right? If it's getting over 10 months, 10 months and 2 weeks, 10 months and 3 weeks, don't worry about it. Give it about another month. All right, another 10% is where you kind of want to give it. Now, if it's taking now more than 11 months, okay, now you want to definitely contact an USCIS or NVC if your case is already with the Department of State. But again, a lot of times, whenever it comes to USCIS responding to inquiries like this, unfortunately, it's a boilerplate response. So here, again, it might be a good idea to, consider hiring an immigration attorney. Now, this one I want to kind of give you with a word of caution, especially with the NVC, because a lot of people are frustrated with how long the availability takes for the immigrant visas. I'm sorry, I'm just confusing the words. But basically, how long the availability of these visas take. I guess that would be the way to say it. With visa bulletin, especially. Some of the categories, though they take years, and I'm talking about decades, all right? 15, 16 years, they take a really, really long time. So a lot of people obviously wonder, can I hire an immigration attorney to help me speed up the process? Unfortunately, there is no way to do that. There is no way to speed up for that visa to become available. Yes, you can submit their request to expedite with NVC, and in fact, you can keep submitting them just to see maybe something changed. Maybe you really do have some kind of emergency situation. And I've done a video where I talk about the reasons that NVC would consider expediting this. But it is at their full discretion. And again, most of the times, these requests to expedite are denied. And the reason why they're denied, most of all, is because there's just no visas available. So you can request the expedited processing, but there is no visas available. You can request the expedited processing with the NVC once the case is documentarily qualified and it's about to be transferred to U.S. Embassy. It's doable because now it's about the process. But with the availability of visas, there's a backlog and everybody's waiting, unfortunately. And with that being said, be careful when you hire an immigration attorney, because a lot of times, because it is you hiring an immigration attorney, a lot of times people make a mistake of just telling an attorney, hey, do everything necessary to speed up the process. And that becomes a problem because now the attorney is just trying to find all these different avenues to expedite the process. And some of these avenues, they involve filing complaints. And it is your case that complaint is being filed on, which means it is you that take the responsibility for that complaint, which means that if somebody that does not like that complaint and somebody who is hurt by that complaint, they have your case in their hands. So it's in your interest to be as polite as professional. With an attorney, if you give them the full power to just do as much as possible, it might get pretty aggressive, and it's not always a good strategy. In fact, most of the times it's not a good strategy. Maybe one instance I can think of, it might be a good strategy, like the number 3 that I have for consideration for an immigration attorney, where it might be a good idea to hire an immigration attorney, is when you actually get the decision. And obviously, if there is an error in the decision, or if it's just a denial, all right, if it's just straight up denial. And that's the instances where I would say, okay, here you're hiring an attorney, and here you're giving the full power to be as aggressive as it is. And if it takes filing a complaint, well, let's do it. They denied me. And if you know that the denial is not, it's not a correct denial, it's not a fair, it's not a just denial, then you have to fight back and make sure that your case is either reopened, reconsidered, basically, or if it's necessary to get this further into the court for further processing. So basically 3 times where you might want to consider hiring an immigration attorney: in the very beginning, when you're doing the preparation of the application and the filing; also in the middle, in the process, if the case is going significantly outside of normal processing times. But with that being said, be careful. Don't go too aggressive. Not a good strategy. And the very last one, decision. If it's denial, or if, for example, it's an error, you received a document with an error, and you want USCIS or maybe NVC, they sent you a wrong notice or something like this, and something needs correction, basically. That's another reason that you might want to consider hiring an immigration attorney. So hopefully this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions. Every other day I try to make a video where I go through all your comments and answer your immigration related questions one by one, and then go live with those videos and then answer your questions in the chat. Yep, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I will be happy to address them. As always, thank you for watching. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.